Welcome you guys to day 4 of Let's Talk History / Black History. We finally made it to day 4. It has been a tough, interesting, and knowledgeable first 4 days. But in today's episode, we'll be discussing an African American woman, enslaved woman, who turned her white American husband jail into one of the first historically black college universities today. It is now known as Virginia Union University in Richmond, Virginia. It has had over 230 plus thousand alumni in the past 6 decades. Woo! Yay! Um, but yeah, so Mary Lumpkin was an African American woman who was sold to a slave of the name Robert Lumpkin at the age of 13. Robert was 27 years older than Mary was, so about 40 to 41 years old, I would say. Yeah. In this day and age, you cannot, under the law and in America, be married to an individual within that big age gap. And also in this day and time, it is about a 80 to 90% chance that every black boy or girl has a dream or has had the dream of attending or graduating a historically black college university. Shout out to all of the black college graduates that are getting ready to graduate or that have had graduated within historically black college universities. So, anyways, fast forward. During the 1830s to 40s, at the age of 13, my sources from uh, allthatisinteresting.com for those of you who may want to go do research. I'm not here to be a professor or teacher or anything, but I'm trying to paint the picture of history and black history for people to understand the importance in a small but big way for people to understand also. So while Mary was up under the property as she was owned, her body was literally a property to Robert Lumpkin at that time. She had the intention of freeing the prison slave members that was treated, very unfairly during that time up under Robert as well. Also, this included their for children that they had also. The prison slave members were literally beaten and treated so ruthless that not only did Lumpkin jail become um, a ruthless jail, but it received a nickname, the Devil's Half Acre. Mary was forced to run the slave jail with her white American husband and with the intentions of freeing these slaves. However, she could not do that with Robert still living. Once Robert passed away, she immediately released the property to a minister. The minister had an intention to establish seminary for freedom. So he had an idea or goal to do something for the jail also that would be much more bigger and better than what it was when Mr. Lumpkin had the jail and was making it so ruthless and so harsh to all of the slave members that was within that time. Like it or not, um, I my main issue here is for people to understand or know the facts and knowledge of Black history of slash history as well. And years later, it is when Mary converted the jail into an HBCU. So as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had a dream, Mary had a dream herself, which was to do something better for that very unsanctified prison, enslaved prison, as I would say. In addition to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, and Malcolm X, I believe that there is so much more in Black history and again history than just those uh, three, Black history heroes. I feel like that now in this time that Black history has become or is becoming eliminated not only in just the school system for children, but also in a matter for adults. So I want to be able to express a feeling in a small but big way also where Black men and women and white men and women can understand what happened during these times. And you know, the sources have become so big now. You got Google, you got TikTok, you got AI Gemini, all these different sources to rely on now. Like all the Black men and women here on my t-shirt, the ABCs of Black history. You got you got Senator John Lewis, who was a congressman and senator, and who also marched on the Edmund Pettus Bridge during the March of Selma. He was also more known for Bloody Sunday. You got Ida B. Wells and anti-lynching movement activists for women's rights and uh, NAACP also. We would not be able to vote or even be where we are today if it was not for these men and women. What I'm saying here is that there is much more than just Rosa Parks, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Coretta Scott King, Barack Obama, President Barack Obama, excuse me, for being the first black president, and Vice President Kamala Harris for being our first black female vice president also. You got Ruby Bridges, who attended an all-white middle school. There's so much more in history, and I want people to be able to understand all of this in a small but big way. Once again, you got all of these sources that you can rely on, and it only took me as 1, 2, 3 to like Google all of these sources, read it, break it down, and reiterate it, well, reinterpret it for people. So I got all my sources from allthatisinteresting.com. So if you would like to know more about Black history and history, follow along with my journey for the next 24 days and just learn something. And thank you.